Amazing new service we'll put together. My name is Kevin Wyant. I'm with the Venture Café Foundation. With our partnership we put together through many different groups around Boston, we're launching today a new resource for the startup community to help entrepreneurs and founders start their companies faster and more effectively. What I thought we'd like to do is just thank a few of the city folks in the room. So thank you, Mayor Walsh, for coming out today and for your support for the program. Chief Barrows is back there in the corner. Chief, he's engaged in conversation. Thank you for coming. Is there anybody else from the city or the state in the room that we should have missed? If not, we'll find some other folks coming later on. So what we'd like to do is start off with a quick video introduction so we get some people who are very involved in this community can tell you about what they think about this new resource and the impact, and then we're going to have a few of the people up here talk about how it might work with you. So Dave, you're going to roll the video, right?
I'm convinced that Boston is the best place in the world to launch a startup right now.
Some of the smartest people anywhere just organically flock to this place.
We have over 100 universities in Massachusetts, including some of the very best ever in the history of the planet.
If you look on a per capita basis, the level of investment in Boston startups, surpasses anywhere else in the country.
One of the most common challenges of a startup in Boston often is a person's doing a company for the first time.
What we need to do more is get better at connecting those in the ecosystem with each other.
There's a lot of great resources out there, but it's fragmented. You have to go to a number of different places to get the full picture.
StartHub is a single place you can go to learn everything you need to know about the Boston startup scene.
Where you might go with your startup to find like-minded individuals.
Who are the players and who are the investors? What events are going on that people can engage with?
Workplaces, accelerators, incubators, capital sources.
What courses can people participate in? Which blogs and thought leaders to follow?
It's not just a portal, it's not just a website. The uniqueness here is around the breadth of resources and the depth of resources as well.
You're able to connect with other companies, you're able to understand how to expand.
Basically make you feel much more in the know.
There is no other place where all of this stuff comes together in one spot.
Anything and everything you want to know about being a successful entrepreneur in Greater Boston is on this site.
StartHub gives you a map so you can find what's best for you and apply that to your startup.
Which is honestly what the whole game is about, is just accelerate and condense activity down to a much shorter time frame and help people in the community to get launched faster and more effectively.
Welcome to StartHub. To kick off the overview, we're going to have Mayor Walsh kick off with our speech.
Thank you very much, Kevin, and thank you everyone for being here today. I want to thank everyone on the stage here, Kevin, Sandy, and David for what you're doing. I want to thank all the guests, the innovative community. Thank you very much. This is my first time. Can you hear me all right? All right. This is my first time in this space. This space is pretty awesome, so I want to. It's great to be here. Thank you very much. You can just clap it out. When we talk about the innovative community, you heard a lot of it on TV. That's what StartHub is all about, large and small, private sector, public sector, downtown, and in the neighborhoods. And it's something that we're really capitalizing on in the city of Boston. We want to continue to do that. What we launched today is StartHub, is the front door to the innovation community. I'm actually kind of excited when I walked in. I watched the video and I got kind of pumped up. Something that's not in my notes, I got to tell you, we had the urban mechanics in City Hall, and anyone who's been in the area, they had like a nice little area in City Hall, and we were thinking the other day, we're looking at it, and like, well, we need a bigger area, and everyone came to me, so we started knocking walls down, and now pretty much half of the mayor's office is the urban mechanics, and there's no walls. And it really is exciting, and I think it's what's coming off of the video behind you. It's what's coming through the city of Boston. I mean, incredible things are happening. We need to get the message out about what's happening in our city. We need to invite people to connect. We need to make sure that people who already live and work here and all over the world understand what we're doing. And StartHub is an online public square that will connect talent and opportunity to investors. And it was mentioned a few minutes ago, the investment that's being made in the city of Boston. Our history, we have a great quality of life. We have talent that's unbeatable anywhere else, but that's not enough. Boston is number 3 in total venture capital and funding. We're punching far way above our weight. And we're number 2 with the percentage of tech workers. Those numbers encompass Greater Boston. And the way we're looking at things differently, it's not just about Boston, it's about the Greater Boston area. And how do we capitalize in the Greater Boston area? I had the chance to go to Seattle last week and sit down in their startup companies in tech world and see what they're doing. And I'm a pretty competitive guy. And when I hear them talking about what they're doing, I'm like, well, we're doing more than that. And I couldn't really talk about what we're doing here because we launched it today, but really competitive in the sense of we need to continue the great momentum that's happening here in our great city. StartHub is a milestone in our efforts to connect Boston's innovators with the most productive ways possible. And we want to continue to do that. We started talking about this as soon as I took office. We reached out to startup in the tech sector. We talked about what do we need? What do we have to do? We started talking to people, individuals, about how do we keep this momentum going? How do we build on this type of excitement? But there are challenges in networking and challenges in marketing. We saw a convening role as a city where we can make a real difference. And we saw a real opportunity to work hand in hand with the community. And we announced in April last year, asking people to suggest names for our program on Twitter. I shared the great new name at my State of the City address. Then we went out and we found a young person in City Hall to direct the program. Rory Kadai is here. I want to thank Rory. And Rory's here to build important partnerships. We made sure this was something that we're leading innovators, and we embraced it, and we supported it from the onset. Our aim is to support the existing ecosystem that we have here in Boston, the Greater Boston area. Help us reach out, meet talent, and meet other talented people in our community. It's been a constant theme of our administration as well. This fall, we opened the Roxbury Innovation Center right here in the Bowling Building. And what happened there was we had a conversation, and we were talking. I think we left one of the programs in Boston. I think we might actually came out of WeWork, and we came into the office, we started talking about opportunities, and some of the companies that you see up here where they're sharing space, and some of you out in this room sharing space, and we said, okay, we need to create more innovation in the neighborhoods. And we said, okay, we have a brand new, beautiful school building that's being built in the heart of Dudley. We have a bunch of great spaces in that building. It's going to go out for public bid. We're going to bring cafes. We're going to bring in restaurants. We're going to bring in a lot of new companies and innovation into the building. And we said, why don't we create an innovation center right in our own city building? So we began to talk about it. We began to put interest out there. And the interest was crazy. And people were really excited about it. And now the Bowling Building in Roxbury isn't just our school building, which is important to be our school building, but it's so much more. So in this building, we're helping create a first-class school system in our country, and in this space like this, we're creating more opportunities for great companies, for people to walk through the door and have an opportunity to be creative and be successful and add to the great ecosystem we have in the city of Boston. We released our report on Enabled Innovation Districts to empower the talent and connect our talent across the city. StartHub will accelerate that trend. It will start pointing out for everyone and working for everyone's needs and help them with access. In the long term, it's going to be a powerful tool for economic development. But the road getting there is about building community. I want to thank you all for being here for this most important milestone. And I look forward to, as we continue to, not just today, but I look forward as we continue to build that ecosystem and what's happening. So the conversations in Seattle, in Silicon Valley, in New York City, they start saying, look what they're doing in Boston. We have to model what they're doing. And people are starting to talk that way. So I want to thank you very much for your great support. And I want to bring Kevin back to the microphone.
So that's a great kickoff, great introduction. The Venture Cafe is really proud to be partnering with the City of Boston, IBM and Gust, and then the many other players around the city to launch this new resource site. We've always been looking for ways to help entrepreneurs who have an idea feel empowered to really accomplish and become successful business on an ongoing basis. We have been very good about reaching out and making sure that entrepreneurship and startup community is not just about tech, but making sure that people with art startups and music and retail and food all can participate in this activity. We've also been very strong about trying to create spaces and programs which help people to connect personally and together so they can actually cultivate their concepts and then grow the companies to find the resources that they need. It's called a very supportive social fabric, and this is the type of things that people, individual and teams need to take the risks and to start cultivating and pursuing their ideas. When we were out looking around about what else needs to be done in the ecosystem, what we heard a lot about was that people were still frustrated about how do I find additional resources. Boston's very fortunate about having lots of resources and activities and programs which are available to early stage companies, but they're not well known. and not easy to find, a little bit fragmented in various spots. So this is the reason we pursued looking at the idea of a site which aggregates that information together, gathers a lot of content from these various other sites and groups into one location so that you can have a very first stop to look at what are the programs, what are the events and activities you can go to quickly, and then go off and get some more information, and so you can more quickly accelerate your growth and activity. So as David's going to show in a few minutes, we'll walk you through it. This is now a site where you can easily find programs, events, places to work out of, funding sources, prospective employees, contractors, and very important guidance through mentoring programs, acceleration programs, or advisors. Very important part also is to figure out what's going to be the objectives and measuring the success of the program. So we are looking for, from StartHub, is an activity which accelerates the start and growth of companies, increases the number of jobs via startups, producing more returns for investors, augmenting the traffic for our content providers, and then driving businesses for the supporting community. This is very much a community project. We've got lots of people working with us, very much a public-private partnership with like 3 capital Ps there. So that's been great working with everybody. Our role in the program for Venture Café is as the program manager, editor, and ambassador. And so we're outreaching to the various groups and teams to participate on this. We do look at this as very much as an MVP, a startup term, minimal viable product. There's lots of content and resources for us to bring in. We haven't quite populated the entire site yet, but we've made great progress. We're diligently in the process of doing that. This is also going to be an ongoing activity. It's not only just starting with one set of content, but it's evolving the functionality. So we're going to be reaching out to you, the community, to get some feedback on a regular basis about what are the things we could do on today's format and how we evolve with it over time. So please give us your suggestions about how we can best help you in the long term. With that, I'm going to introduce Sandy Carter, GM of Developers and Ecosystem at IBM. Come on up, Sandy.
So, I was talking to the mayor ahead of time, and he said, break a leg, so I did. So thank you very much. Thanks, Mayor Walsh and Kevin and David. IBM is really proud to partner with the City of Boston and launch StartHub today. On behalf of IBM and our 2 great partners, Venture Café and Gust, it is our privilege to support the innovation that's growing here in Roxbury and in Greater Boston. Now, I know Boston is a city of first. You had the first park, the first secondary school, and one of my favorites, the first woman to get a PhD in the United States came here. So we've really, isn't that awesome? So we've really played an innovative and strategic role. So one of the things I'd love to do is have all of you guys tweet #StartHub and see if you can do a first Twitter storm for this great digital ecosystem. Now, StartHub really continues in that first. Hopefully we'll get a Twitter storm started, and it's really a first-of-a-kind digital ecosystem. And it's built, as you've heard, for entrepreneurs, VCs, angels, and accelerators. Now, I spent a lot of time here. Believe it or not, my mom still has a baseball that was signed by Ted Williams. Some of you may not know who he is. I spent every summer here, because I have over 200 cousins in this area. And then I was really pleased to go to Harvard Business School. So this launch is very special to me with all the personal connections. And so today, on behalf of IBM, I'd like to pledge our commitment to the Greater Boston area, to startups, as well as to innovation. So first, let's start with our commitment to the Greater Boston area. Many of you know that our work here in Boston, this is really not the first thing that we've done. Partnering with Mayor Walsh, we've made several big investments in the city of talent. So if you think about it, we have over 4,000 full-time employees here, and we've also included over 20 Massachusetts-based startups that are now part of IBM. You could say it's part of their successful exit strategy to become part of IBM, and IBM will continue our strong focus here. And in fact, I don't know if you knew this, but we have IBM's largest software development lab here in Littleton that focuses on social business software. It's the home of collaboration, and it's exactly the type of collaboration that we're talking about here with the City of Boston, startups, and IBM. So IBM commits to Boston with StartHub, making Boston startups strong together. Now, our commitment to startups, I think, is even broader. I'm IBM's general manager for the cloud ecosystem, which means that I live, eat, and breathe entrepreneurship all the time. So I truly have the best job, well, maybe except for the mayors. So when we focus on entrepreneurship, we help entrepreneurs in two major areas. One is with skills. So we come in and we work with the universities, and you guys truly have the best universities around. And we do that because startups need great talent to grow. And so in fact, in the Boston area, we've given free of charge our IBM Cloud software across the board to universities like Northeastern, Boston University, and we just hosted a major hackathon with Hack UMass to really support this region and to build up the skills. And secondly, we know that startups need resources, right? All the startups in the room know that. And so we've kicked off something called an entrepreneur program where we give away $120,000 of free cloud credits. And you know, cloud makes everything faster. Just a real quick story. I was working with an entrepreneur, and we helped him about 7 years ago. And so he just started his second company because he successfully exited. And I said, what was the difference between this startup and last startup? And he said, well, Sandy, you know, last startup, I spent 60% of my funding on technology. And today with the cloud, I spend less than 10%, and I'm moving faster, and I'm 5 years ahead because of that technology. Did you know that through IBM's entrepreneur program here in the greater Boston area that we've already dedicated resources of $12 million of cloud credits to greater Boston-based startups? Those are companies that are here in the room, like Water Hero, Centel, Soft10, Kango Gift, and more. So startups really think big, and I think StartHub that we're announcing today helps them to grow big as well. Now, finally, we have a big commitment to innovation, and we all know that innovation is essential. And if you think about innovation, innovation sparks startups. It sparks growth. It sparks new jobs. And you know, IBM's committed to innovation. We actually have filed more patents than any other company in the world. 4 years ago, we also saw on Jeopardy, hopefully you guys saw Watson defeat the reigning Jeopardy champion. And we declared that this is the cognitive era. It's a time when software can think, can learn, and can reason. And if you think about it, it's really impactful. And we have based our Watson Health unit here in Cambridge. And we're going to help innovate with new startups and healthcare professionals in diagnosing and treating patients. So because this cloud is changing everything around us, we are also thrilled that StartHub is being built on IBM's cloud. And many of the partners that we just talked about are also leveraging our IBM cloud as well. So if you think about some of those partners I mentioned earlier, I know the founder of Water Hero, also a fellow HBS alumni, is here. They're developing smarter water leak detection with automatic shutoff. And I also saw Centel that was here. They're powering businesses to make better business-centric decisions. And fundability, they've got 2 new applications, Dapper Do and Tada, really cool names, by the way, started right here in Boston. Kango Gift, the CEO is here, using HR recognition software. So if you think about it, all these startups, this innovation, you know, Mayor Walsh talked about wanting Boston to be such a top-notch place. Well, if you think about it, you know, you've got Silicon Valley and Israel and Seattle, but Boston has the talent and the passion and the know-how to really excel. And innovation is driven by doers, not just dreamers. So IBM is really committed here to innovation in the Boston area. So to close, today's announcement is far more than just introducing a new digital platform. It's really a commitment to Greater Boston's impact on the startup ecosystem. And in fact, I think you said you're very competitive to win that startup battle. StartHub is a commitment to entrepreneurs who will continue showcasing Boston as the startup ecosystem. So I'd love to congratulate all of you and Mayor Walsh for his great support. Thank you.
Okay, for our last speaker, we're going to have David Rose, CEO and founder of Gust.
It's wonderful in this world when people find what they want to do and you have the right match between a person and a job. The mayor has the best job in the entire world. He's mayor of Boston. Sandy has the best job in the entire world. She gets to work with entrepreneurs every day. I'm an entrepreneur. I think I have the best job in the entire world. So what you're going to see here today is really special. So probably everybody is wondering, what the heck is a platform? What is a hub? Is a StartHub? Is a digital thing? What are they all talking about? It sounds really good. So I get to have the fun to give you the demonstration and to show you what we actually have here. So before I actually show you on screen, let me tell you that we keep talking about public-private partnerships. Often that's a key word for somebody just puts their name on something or writes a check. This is truly a public-private partnership. It really is a breakthrough one. You're looking at an enormous number of players here. This is the City of Boston's official hub, online, central community square for the entire innovation community here. And they have been behind this, the mayor and Rory and the whole StartHub team, from day one. The Venture Café under Kevin. Look at the space you're in, look at the Venture Café here, the Cambridge Innovation Center, all of the stuff that they have been doing in Boston. It's extraordinary. You heard from Sandy about what IBM has been doing in Boston for entrepreneurs, and on this site particularly, their technology permeates the entire site. The resources that they have developed for entrepreneurs are available through the entire site, and we'll go through more of that. And we're Gust, we're a small startup company ourselves, a financial technology company that actually built this platform, pulling together all the stuff from these partners and from the community. So, without further ado, take a look at, ta-da, StartHub Boston. So first of all, it's a website, okay? So you can go there now on your computer, you can go there on your mobile device, starthub.org, and this is the homepage. And so when we say this is the centerpiece for the community, we mean it's got everything in the community. So look across the top there and you will see the menu bar, which lists everything. It lists every startup, every investor, news story, event, job, workplace, course, video, blog, resource, everything in the entire Boston innovation community. And as we all know, Boston is one of the most innovative centers in the entire world, historically and in the present day. And because this is a centerpiece, it takes all this information, all this data in, and makes it available with a single search. So you can go to the home page across the top there and type in anything you want, and it'll bring back everything anywhere on the entire site. You type in Cambridge, it'll show you events in Cambridge and jobs in Cambridge and startups in Cambridge. You want something in food or financial technology, it'll bring it in from across all of Boston. You don't want to search by keyword, you're location-based. Hey, you want to put in Roxbury, you want to put in anything, you can look on a map and see where everything is. You can see the hot spots, the centers of innovation here, whether they are co-working spaces or where startups are setting up or where you have various meetups here. And if you want to see the latest and greatest thing, tune your radios and tune your televisions and tune your monitors every day to startup.org. Come on here and you will see changing news stories literally every day. There's a full-time editorial staff here that is bringing you the latest and greatest news sourced from a whole lot of places. It's all coming in here, all coming right on the homepage. You can take a look at that. And if you want it spoon-fed to you, no problem. The editors will pick out the coolest startups, the coolest events, the coolest things happening in the whole greater Boston area and highlight them for you. And there's no pay-to-play here. This is not a commercial operation. This is IBM's and Venture Café's gift to the city of Boston to create an extraordinary centerpiece here. So this was going to be the legitimate best of stuff. And okay, you don't want to read things, you want to have it given to you by video, no problem. Every video in all of the stuff that's happening here in the startup community in Boston, whether it's pitch videos or TED Talks by Boston innovators, stuff coming out of MIT, stuff coming out of the entire area here, you can see it in video. Oh, if you don't want to like video, you want to read, no problem. We got blogs. Every startup blog from all of the thought leaders who are in the greater Boston area here, all of their postings available right here on the homepage. And oh, how about if you would like this actually delivered to you so you don't even have to go to the site? No problem. Just sign up from the homepage for the digest, and every week, delivered into your email inbox, you will see, courtesy of IBM's Watson, which is this enormous brain going through all of the news stories out there, all of everything happening in the area, working with our partner OpenTopic, another partner involved in this, and you will see all the latest, greatest stuff delivered, the highlights of the past week, events that are things coming up in the next week that you can take a look at, the important stories you can't miss. But if once a week is too slow for you, okay, minute by minute, come online and look on the homepage here. You have a Twitter roll, so you can see all of the tweets from the ecosystem, stuff from Rory, stuff from IBM, stuff from all of our partners, and all things that are happening in the area. And then scroll down to the bottom of the page, and you can see a steady stream, an updated flow of all the really cool stuff that's happening in the city. And that's just the homepage. Okay, so now let's take a little further exploration here in the site. So you want to go to the startup section. So here you can see all of the startups in Boston, in the greater Boston area. And as Kevin was saying, what you're seeing here, as cool as this is just the minimum viable product. This is just today's launch. It just went live half an hour ago when we started speaking here. So this is just the start already. There are almost 1,000 startups in Boston with their full profiles over here. And you're going to see more and more and more. This is going to be a constantly accreting and growing site over time. This is truly an extraordinary operation. And so where do you find startups? Well, okay, look at the homepage. We'll show you featured startups. This will be constantly changing to feature new, cool, interesting startups that are happening in the area. And then there are all kinds of partners, folks like the Venture Café, folks like accelerators and incubators who can create collections, business competitions, things coming out of MIT and Harvard and BU and other areas. And so they can create collections of startup companies affiliated with them to curate them, and you can see stuff there. You want to look at it by geography? No problem. You've got a map. You can actually go and see who's located where are people's offices, what's happening in the neighborhood, what startups are around you. You want to search by keyword. You want to search by name. You want to search by anything. Just type it right in there, and you'll get back a list of everything in the area over here. And if you look for yourself and you don't see yourself, hey, no problem, add yourself. You can add anything in. This is a community-driven site. We are starting out by having about a dozen partners who are all feeding via what's called APIs, application programming interfaces, live feeds into this site 24/7. And if you don't see something in here that should be here, you can add it directly in. And so when you put a site in here, when you look for a startup, what do you see? This isn't just a sort of reskin Google directory and a link to their page. No, you actually see a profile of the whole company. You see their metadata, as we call it, their link, their social media links. You see their management team. If they have an explainer video, you'll see that here as well. So all this stuff, this is just looking at startups. These same kinds of things are available, the same information for everything in the community. You can look at it for investors. You can see all of the business angel groups and networks and the venture capital funds and the business competitions going on here. You can hear all of the events. We're taking in direct feeds from meetups, all the tech meetups and all the startup meetups around here, as well as everything else that's happening in here. You want to find a job? This is the single source, aggregated, and at no cost to post a job on here. You can post a job here. We have partners who are feeding jobs in here as well. So the goal is that to have every tech job in a tech company in Boston, every tech job in a non-tech company, and every non-tech job in a tech company. So basically, the centerpiece, you want to find a place to come to work in this part of this innovation economy, and it's all right here. And if that weren't enough, you could I could spend another half hour doing this stuff. It's got all these news stories. It's got access to resources from the Venture Café and IBM and the city and all the universities around here. It's got every class and every accelerator and incubator and workspace and blog, you name it. This is a truly extraordinary platform done by the community, done by partners, living, breathing, growing all the time. This is StartHub.org, and this is just the beginning. Thank you.
All right, so we've got some time for some questions for anybody who'd like to ask anybody in the panel. And we might have to juggle microphones. As the mayor says, we're all kind of getting used to this room. This is a great new room. We're trying to figure out how it all works. We had a good time earlier this afternoon on AV. Any questions about folks about any part of this with StartHub or how it might help? Go ahead. All right, like that. Excellent. Any other questions? Come on, I know it's afternoon, it's mid-afternoon, but there's some coffee and some sugar out there. You guys put some energy. Go ahead. What's your name? Go, jump, Justin. Good. Jump.
I think you're absolutely right. When you talk about abandoned building, you're talking about living space and kind of joint work area. I think it's something we should look at. The one thing that we do have over Silicon Valley to some degree is that a reason why Seattle's picking up so much steam is because the housing prices of Silicon Valley have gone through the roof, and people can't afford to live in Silicon Valley and can't afford to live in San Francisco and too far a drive to San Jose. So that's kind of what's happening. So companies are reinvesting. But it's something that we are looking at. We launched a housing plan last year to create 53,000 units of new housing in the city of Boston. We set a goal. We set a record last year in 2014 of housing starts, new construction. Half of that moderate, low-income housing. This year we're gonna beat that record from last year. So we are on the move. We do have to be more creative, and something like that we will take back absolutely and think about it. Absolutely.
Could I add one thing to that as well? Can you guys hear me okay without a mic? Other competitive. So, but you guys can hear me, right? Yeah. Okay. So one of the other competitive advantages, I think this young woman right here just talked about.
Chief Barrows, Chief AV Tech also.
Or he didn't want me to speak, so took the microphone.
I don't know, John, was that a hint? But oh, okay.
And so I think that's a competitive advantage. So I know that there are a lot of women founders who find Silicon Valley and San Francisco not supportive. And I do think that that's a competitive advantage. If you guys can make it a friendly and VC angel investable space here for represented my
Sure, go ahead. I've been to Tel Aviv quite a bit. I think you're right. It's a very, very active community in Tel Aviv. I think that's one thing we'll get more inputs about. So how to maybe create the special resources about international support groups for the startups which are in the area, and specifically tailored for programs. I think that's a great addition to the site for going forward.
Before you leave, can I go, Rory, get that? Rory, where's Rory?
Rory was in the back of the room. Did he step up?
We'll make sure we connect him. All right.
Yeah.
I'll connect you before I leave.
All right, let's go up front, right here. Go ahead.
Hey, everybody. I guess might as well stand up. Hello, everybody. My name is Brandon Ransom. Hey, how's it going? So I'm actually a Roxbury resident, a nutritionist, and the co-founder of Techtrition, Inc., right here based out of Dudley Square, smart in the city, and now the Boston Business Accelerator. So one of the greatest concerns that I have with technology in general is that there tends not to be a trickle down. You have your technology enthusiasts that tend to use stuff first and foremost, and it oftentimes doesn't trickle to alternative communities or communities I know in Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan, sometimes things don't extend down here quite as fast. So what's the plan as far as marketing and getting people within these communities to use this new available technology?
Well, I'll let you answer that question, but you're in a building space right now for trickle down. That's why we're here, because we want to make sure people in Roxbury, communities of color, but more particularly people in Roxbury have an opportunity in their neighborhood to have this opportunity. And we're not stopping, the city is not stopping investing in one location. We're looking at potentially other locations that we can have startups to come, companies like yours to invest here. Or people like you to start something for kids to invest here.
Yeah, it's a big reason, big part of what Roxbury Innovation Center is doing on the Venture Cafe is to bring resources here, which allows you to more quickly get your ideas cultivated, find the right people to start the companies, get the resources attached to it here locally, and then make sure you can get access to any resources around Boston, Cambridge, Somerville, greater Boston area, so you can really move along very, very quickly. Thank you. Right back there. Okay. Okay.
One of the things I wanted to mention, thank you. One of the things I wanted to mention is we hear over and over again all the reasons why we compete with Silicon Valley and New York and Seattle and all these other places. But we hear again and again from startups that we mentor that Boston is one of the most accepting communities that they find. I've found people coming from other parts of the country that say it's so easy to get to know resources, mentors. You know, so I'm particularly excited about this as a part of the community that really supports the startup community. But we shouldn't discount that. You know, there's a lot of ways we're competing with other areas, but we're great in so many too.
Thank you very much. Great.
Hi, my name is Melissa James, and I'm CEO of the Tech Connection. I actually sit right next to Brandon. I'm at Smarter in the City. So thank you so much for having the Roxbury Innovation Center. I think it's really big, and it's really helpful for local entrepreneurs. I never would have met Brandon if we weren't at Smarter in the City, and we definitely wouldn't have connected and built really great partnerships with Katia, his co-founder, and some of the other local entrepreneurs here. But my company is the Tech Connection, and we connect underrepresented software engineers to different tech companies. So my question is, like, what are we going to do to build that pipeline to get more underrepresented talent as software engineers really earning those high income opportunities within these particular neighborhoods like Roxbury? I know that the Roxbury Innovation Center is doing lots of great work, but getting into these tech companies, there's a certain process that they have to go through. It's really helping them to kind of think strategically about their career, also making sure that they have the technical skills to actually get those jobs. So I'm just curious to know, like, how are we going to kind of open up the mind of people in other neighborhoods of, like, tech is a really great industry, it's growing, it pays really, really well. Here are the tactical skills that you need to actually get a job in those areas. Cool. Thank you.
Really don't like me, do they?
It turned off?
It's turned on. It is turned on.
Switch microphones.
Hey, IBM has a lot of money invested in this.
Stepping in, speaking for Sandy. That's right. Thank you, John.
So there are several things. One of the things I'll offer, I have a great IBM team here sitting on the front row. We can come and do a hackathon here in this area. We can do that for middle school, high school, universities. We also support a group called Girls Who Code, Black Girls Who Code, Hispanic Girls Who Code. We accept men too, by the way. But there's lots of programs like that. We would love to talk to you about it. I've got a really strong Boston team here, right here on the front row. Come and talk to them. And then Bob McDonald's our site executive right here. He also has some great programs running so that we're committed to Boston. We want to help you guys get up and moving. And I think that pipeline is crucial for your success.
I also think we're doing some good things in the schools. We got to do more in our schools, in our high schools. And right now we're going through a redesign of our high schools. So we have to putting young people on a pathway to career, pathway to success. So we have to do more. For example, the Burke High School in Dorchester does some incredible things there. So we need to do more of that.
And Melissa, as you mentioned, keep watching the Roxbury Innovation Center calendar. We have lots of technical programming coming, as well as other educational programs and workshops, and a small fab lab coming shortly also. Right there. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Richard Futrell. I am a native of Roxbury myself, and I'm the business program manager at Build Boston. So Build Boston, we're doing a lot in Boston public schools with youth entrepreneurship, and we've created over 50 entrepreneurs under the age of 18, which is really good in Boston public schools. We're really excited to be a part of this, definitely with Kevin and Venture Café, who's a huge partner of ours, and StartHub.org. What I would like to see is a lot more for youth entrepreneurs up there, where they can actually find resources for 15 and 16-year-old kids running businesses in Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan. Is what's that path to get to be a true business and a bigger business in the city of Boston.
Right. We're going to put you in that group to help us flesh that out. Okay. Like that. Anybody on this side of the audience before?
Thanks, Kevin.
Give you a little walking. Come on, try to use some exercise today.
Hi. I'm very glad to be here. StartHub is great. But one thing Boston is missing, I'm Stafford from Bands Collective, is event spaces. It's great to have technology, but it's basically what the nightlife is. And basically, Boston needs to work on that, because I think with all the technology, people want to basically have somewhere to go afterwards. What is Boston's doing about that?
I'm working on it. I'm going to try again. I need some help from the State House on that one.
I'm a big guy. You want some?
Yeah, I need you, yeah. Off the record, you need to come with me to go visit the speaker. But I got to tell you, we are looking at, our bars are open until 2 a.m. in certain areas of the city. We're working on changing some of the rules around food and outdoor entertainment and things like that. We're bringing a lot more festivals to our city. We're working on, we have a lot, bringing life to City Hall Plaza, bringing life to other areas of the city of Boston. We're trying to do a lot more of that outside the box thinking in our city. We've been successful on some, not on others. As far as opening our city later at night to beyond 2 o'clock in the morning, we need legislative support for that. But we are working in neighborhoods like Roxbury to try and bring more liquor license to the neighborhood, more restaurants to the community, trying to do all of that as well, share it around the entire community, not just 2 sections of our city.
Excellent. Kind of quiet. Any other hands back? Anybody in the back of the room? No. We questioned out? Oh, there we go. Second timer. There.
Hi, this is for the representative from IBM. How does IBM support STEM initiatives in Boston? Science, technology, engineering, and math.
Yeah. So there's several different things that we do. We do support a huge set of STEM initiatives. So one is Girls Who Code. We do a special program for women founders. We do a special program for women entrepreneurs, so you don't have to be a founder. We sponsor Black Girls Who Code, and then we're also an advocate to VCs. So something you may not know, women founders are 15% more profitable than their counterparts. However, they're 40% less likely to be funded. So 15% more profitable, 40% less likely to be funded. So one of our missions is we are working with angels, accelerators, and rewarding those who go after women founders, underrepresented minority founders, because there's a lot of money there, but they're not just doing that funding based on performance or potential performance. They're doing it based on other things. So we're really committed to try to get that changed as well across not just Boston, but we want that changed across the world. We have a whole set of programs. It's called PTech that works in high schools and colleges that we've got going on. So we are advocating and giving free curriculum away for computer science and math to high schools, to universities, et cetera. Not elementary yet, but we go down to middle school and high school. But we can talk. Yeah, we'll talk. And Bob McDonald's here. He runs education for us right here. Bob, raise your hand. So he can also talk to you. We love all great ideas. We want to do more like this gentleman talked about with young entrepreneurs. I just met an entrepreneur who actually founded his first company at 14 and has now gone on to do amazing things. So if we start that really young, we can really grow some strong entrepreneurs here in this community.
Right. One last question, maybe then we'll take a break to do some demos. I have a chance to talk to the mayor while he's still here on offline. So
Kevin,
two
last
more?
ones.
Two more. Got it. Nisha, welcome back.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you. Here.
Good to see you too. So my question's for everyone in the room, is specifically people on the stage. So my name's Nisha McCrae. I'm the founder and executive director of a social venture that creates do-it-yourself kits as well as workshops to introduce kids to product design and development in order to become innovators and entrepreneurs. I am not a Boston native. I am from North Florida, and I came up here because I went to school at MIT for mechanical engineering, and I kind of stayed along for the past couple of months trying to figure out if I could still be part of the Boston community. And one of the actual challenges facing people like me is that when we actually have traction, a lot of people, including Silicon Valley, Israel, and what you may not know, other countries around the world, start giving us offers because they know in 6 months we're not going to be able to afford to stay in the Boston area. And so we either have to decide, do we have the network to stay here despite our talents and despite actually building something worthwhile, or should we go elsewhere? And so one of the things me and my friends have been brainstorming about is if the city of Boston or any other partnerships on the horizon were perhaps providing a 6-month to 2-year program for very promising young entrepreneurs, especially in the social space, to stay in the Boston area.
Before you leave today, make sure we get your contact. John Barros is walking towards you. Hook up with John Barros.
I was going to do that, but
We had a, I had a dinner. I had a dinner about 2 weeks ago with some venture capitalists in Boston who give a lot of money out to Boston and startups. And the conversation was exactly that. How do they capitalize on keeping young talent here? And is there an opportunity for us to create a real incredible internship program while people are in school and having them work with these companies, and then when they get out, as far as startups? So I seriously want to hook you up with John. We're working on that inside City Hall right now. That kind of idea. It might be a little different, but with your help, we can formulate something different. But that's exactly what we spoke about, because we start companies coming in from other places and cities coming from other places, taking the talent from Boston to their cities when we could actually keep them here even long before the graduation happens, a couple years before graduation. So I want to talk to you about that.
Nisha runs an awesome course.
Before we do that, can I give one suggestion? And I don't know if you like this suggestion or not, Mayor and everyone here in the room. But one of the things that we've done in Silicon Valley is we actually have a house. It's kind of like, those reality TV shows, where everybody lives together in a house. We actually have a startup house. And in the startup house, we bring in young entrepreneurs like yourself, and you stay there for 3 weeks, and you live with other young entrepreneurs, so you get to know each other really well. And we bring in VCs and angels and other successful entrepreneurs, so we help you get established with connections with other entrepreneurs so that you stay in the region. It may be something we want to replicate here. It's a great idea, and it's extremely successful. I know India just came over, Bangalore and Delhi just came over to replicate it, as did Israel. So maybe we can talk later and see. He has to say yes because he's sitting beside me, right? Do I get your card too, or no?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I actually have a couple of houses for you, so we'll talk.
Good.
John also does real estate.
Hi, my name is Jean-Luc Parit. I'm with the Fab Foundation. And one thing, a couple of things I heard really good about this initiative. Of course, there's outreach to women and people of color. I wanted to know, from an editorial standpoint, what was the potential for expansion to have outreach to our non-native English-speaking communities?
David, you might talk about this as far as the platform? Good.
The platform, there are two challenges with a platform like this. A platform like this is a representation of what the community is. And so this is coming with live feeds from all these various sources. The platform itself, the interface, the menu choices and how you look at things will be available in other languages. We're starting initially with English, and over time, remember, what you have launched today, as amazing as this is still the MVP. So this is going to be changing and morphing and growing over time. This is a multi-year commitment from all of us here on the stage, and this is just the beginning. So it's going to be growing, and it'll be growing in multiple languages. Part of the challenge, however, is that the original underlying content itself is, for the most part, in English. And so every time you try and do automatic translation of stuff coming in, it doesn't work. Right? So to the extent that there is stuff that is available in the community in other languages, we're going to try and ultimately feature it in there. But the goal here is total accessibility. And as everybody has mentioned, A, we're here in Roxbury today. B, this is on the web. It's totally free. It's supported by IBM. It's incorporating the community. So this is the community center. This is the hub for the entire greater Boston area. And this is just the beginning.
Ask what languages?
Yeah, this is a big push for us, a big part of our mission for Venture Cafe is making sure that the resources are available to across the community, no matter what language, origin, education. So as we're looking to add editors and program managers, we're definitely going to be strong consideration. And then also help trying to develop the content, which can be used on the platform to reach those various groups. All right, I think it's probably a good time to maybe take a wrap up. We do have some workstations on the side to do demos. I think the mayor's around for a few more minutes to do a walk around and talk to him. This is Chief Barrows, another good person in the audience to talk to, and lots of other good folks in the group. Thank you for coming today.